This is my Lego clone base. It took me 4 different iterations to get to this point, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about what I think I've improved, how I've gone about going from versions 1 to 4. And across this time I've changed different things, I've taken aspects from each one. So the first one I did was in 2020, and that was my version 1. It started off as mainly just base plates with small little buildings and a command center of just 2 sides facing off against each other. Then what I did in version 2 was I experimented with things like rock work. So I made this hangar area where I was hoping that I could have vehicles coming out, but what I found was it was just a little bit too enclosed, and I couldn't get the presence that I wanted. It was ominous, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. This was version 3. This was the one that is where everything just sprawled across an entire table. It just expanded and expanded, and I took elements of the terrain from version 2, elements of, like the command center from version 1, and I just ran with it, and I focused a lot on the battle, on the placement of minifigures, small bits of debris, little bits of terrain, rock work, and just generic interior things like an armory and a landing platform. And I think that worked really well. But then I was faced with the problem that most builders have. I ran out of space. So I decided that, considering my model was getting quite dusty, I decided to take it apart, think, I need to put this somewhere else, so I'm going to build it again. I'm going to go from the start, build it all over again, and I'm going to take my time, take what I've learned, and go into version 4. On YouTube, I've been documenting this series. I've had a couple of updates showing how I've made my Mills baseplate type thing with a couple of new snot techniques for the border that I have been experimenting with. And I know there's things that I can continue to improve, and I'd like you guys to help me with that. Help let me know what you think I can work on. I experimented with different placements and terrain, borders and placements for minifigures, trying to do a little bit less than I did on the other one in terms of minifigure placements, because it was just a bit busy. I really enjoyed doing the things like the terrain, the rock work, and the exterior of my model, and that's my favourite bit. That's the bit that I think looks the best and creates some of those cinematic shots that you can have when it comes to Lego, because Lego is just such an amazing thing to work with. When I worked on this hangar, I tried to incorporate things like racking and stuff just to flesh it out a bit, give some more depth to the model, but it ended up looking a little bit dark inside. So I'm thinking, do I need to add some lights to this build? And I'd like you guys to also let me know that in the comments. I really love this section. This bit's my favourite, is the balcony and the rock work leading up to it, because I was able to experiment with some snot techniques for the rock work and just get it to change angles and flow into the build like natural rock work would, and this has got to be one of my favourite shots there. Then I added all the minifigures, and I tried to incorporate some of my similar aspects that I had on the other one in terms of placement and flying troopers used with clear transparent pieces. And I think overall I'm really happy with this mock. There's loads of stuff that you can do cinematic wise, but I know I can improve. So I'm going to keep working on my channel. I'm going to keep improving, try different techniques, different areas of Star Wars. I've got a couple of builds planned for the future, but if anyone's got any ideas, just let me know. I'm always looking for new stuff to build. So thank you guys for watching, and please leave your comments below.